Hey, everybody, welcome to Review with Me, your review guide of shows, movies, and everything in between. Be sure to click the like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get on with this review. Hello, welcome back. We are here. We are here. We are finally wrapping this damn show up. Fuck! It's been a year and a half for season 10, Ready to Love. But here we are. Let's get into I'm jamming pack um this review. So part 1 and part 2, we're going to do it together. I've already watched it. I'm going to play it in the background piece by piece and break down significant moments. What I do want to say here is Rose baby, go get support. Go get some go get some support. Go figure out what you need to do to get your mind right, because this entire reunion parts 1 and 2, I just I felt secondhand embarrassment for Rose. Seriously. Like, it's so interesting how much she kind of strayed far from the Rose we were introduced to, right? You know, she was introduced to us as this, I want a God fearing man. I want a man who's really passionate about his faith, who has faith, who goes to church, all these things. And that was her hesitation with Cam, even though he still ended up being her closest connection, one of her closest connection, him and Hussein. But let's just get into it, child. Let's Rose baby, Lord, she was just a hot mess. So immediately we start off this episode, this reunion with Rose looking pissed, looking disheveled, hair already sweated out. I want to get to this part right here. Cam was kind of getting a beat down throughout this season or throughout this reunion. And I didn't think that was fair. We get to this section here with Angie and how Angie wasn't taking accountability for breaking the windows, the car windows of former lovers, former beaux, who she felt like were definitely warranted to having their car windows broken. And Kim is calling her out on it, or has called her out on it. And even on this couch here, you would think, okay, some time has passed since the filming of the season, and she would have some humility. She would have some remorse. No, she's still sitting up there acting like this is okay behavior. This is not okay behavior. You break someone, like even that Carrie Underwood song, I throw my wings into the sky. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Great song, catchy, right? But it also, at a point, even with Jasmine Sullivan, I bust the windows out your car. Like, it encourages such psychotic behavior. It really does. And I get it. At some point, many women, I'm not saying all, but there's been a group of women out here who has done that, whether it was in their teenage years, right? Their first high school love, high school heartbreak, or it was as recent as in their 30s and they're still in their 30s, right? So I just think at a certain point, you have to outgrow behavior that is emotionally unintelligent and immature. There's a way to communicate that's better, that is more effective. But Rose, not Rose, child, Rose is still gonna be the name that we're gonna talk about. But Angie here lacks any accountability. But you notice, did y'all notice with what's his name? Rick Fox looking as there he go. Ugh, I'm trying to get that little shot. Okay. Anyway, I forget his name, but his name is Rick Fox to me. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Damn, what's his name? He was Child, I'm winging it. I didn't take any notes. I'm winging it. So bear with me. Um, Not Cam, but the Rick Fox looking man on the side. He likes everything. He's like, well, I kind of like that spicy side of Angie. I kind of like that. Even when it came to Deanna, Rick Fox talking about how he likes that Deanna doesn't like to talk on the phone every single day. You know, with her stupid excuse of, well, I'm a firefighter. I don't have time to talk on the phone. Deanna, Deanna, please. You are on the show for this reason. You cannot find love with that piss poor attitude. So anyway, we move on. We move on, and oh yeah, this I'm talking. This is the Rick Fox. I forget his name. Child, it doesn't matter. Um, so we see snippets of Rose breaking down. She is emotional, and before they even start to film their segment, who's they're in the back, backstage, and Hussein is actually he cares about her, but he is firm on his boundary being crossed of her omission of a lie, with her not telling him that her child's father is incarcerated. So Hussein sees Rose breaking down, visibly upset, and he's asking her, "Are you okay? How you doing?" She says to him, "We were supposed to be out here walking on the stage together. This this could have been us, but you was playing. You know that whole meme. This could have been you, but you playing. This could have been us, but you playing. No, it couldn't have been, Rose. It couldn't have been, y'all, because you lied to him. You decided to exclude pertinent information from Hussein that would have benefited him to know in advance. Okay. And it's his right. It's his right to feel like this isn't what I want to continue anymore. This isn't the connection I want to continue anymore. You can't get mad at someone for deciding I don't want to be with, like, that's just a weird thing. Anyway, so she's breaking down. She's about to catch a fit. You see Tay here trying to give some words of wisdom that is words of stupidity. Tay talking to Rose talking about, when men show they ass, you gotta go savage on them. You gotta go What are you talking about? You gotta go what? So you can't effectively communicate? What surprised me about this part of the season of reunion is Sahara was more the voice of reason than we would have thought, than I would have thought for sure. There was I think it was in this episode, yeah, towards the end of this episode, and we'll get to it. But Sahara gave some words of wisdom to Angie, who thought Cam was talking crap about her, and he probably was low key. But nonetheless, let's continue. So Tay's trying to give some words of wisdom to Rose, but it was the blind leading the blind. Tay talking about go full savage on these ninjas, go full savage on them. Just stupid and dumb and stupid. Like, okay, girl, you sound dumb as hell. But let's get into it. So they run the package of Hussein and Rose. Rose is getting emotional watching their love story unfold. And what I don't like about this reunion setup is a lot of things. There's a lot of things. First of all, why is everybody so far apart? And this has been the same setup since season 1. And this is season 10. You would think OWN has more of a budget for Ready to Love. I would assume so. You like It's obvious that they have transformed a warehouse to appear like a reunion stage, but they could have done better with the setup, with the decor, with the proximity of things. It's ridiculous how far away. I wonder if they had to speak loudly in order to hear each other. I don't understand how uh the host, Tommy, how he's so far and how he's able to hear everything that these contestants are saying. And I also don't like that Rose and Hussein are seated on the same couch when it's obvious, like we know, not even we know, we saw Rose get eliminated and they didn't end up together. Okay, so why they're seated on the same couch as if there could have been, oh, maybe they did get back. There could have been some confusion or there could have been some hope of them returning together. That was a weird thing. Like, usually, if we're separated, we're seated on separate ends or, yeah, like separate ends of the room, not on the same couch. And look at Rose's demeanor. Why is she sitting like that? Like, yeah, I'm talking to you. You got something to say to me? Let me clear this stuff. Let me, like, it's just already on 10 and 2. So they bring up the reason why she got eliminated and the reason why Hussein decided to part ways from her. He said, like he said from the beginning, he should have been told the information about her child's father being incarcerated. He should have been told this in advance. And he's absolutely correct. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And instead of Rose taking accountability and saying, you know what, that's the only thing I regret throughout this experience. I wish I could have handled that properly. For so long, he's been in the back of my mind because I've been doing this motherhood without him. But I do recognize how you feel and I do apologize. And I hope maybe we can rekindle, but I understand if we don't. See, Rose, let me in your corner. Rose, I could have saved your relationship. Honestly, men appreciate accountability, genuine accountability. And if you were to have broken it down like that, been genuine and heartfelt, I feel like Hussein, he still initially would have requested space, but I think maybe he would have come around to it. But with Rose being this adamant and headstrong in her wrongness, it made her look even worse. So not only is she not being apologetic, right? She's saying things like, both of us could have taken accountability. Both what? What is Hussein taking accountability for? Rose keeps saying, it felt like my happiness was robbed. I was robbed from this experience. I was robbed from a happy ending. I was robbed from a love story. Who is the burglar? I want to know who is robbing your house. Where do you live? What is the alarm setup like? Because how are you being robbed back to back to back? But why are you thinking this is a robbery? That's number one. Why is this your perception? Instead of simply taking accountability, you are now painting yourself as this victim and you're standing headstrong in that. I find it to be so embarrassing. I feel so embarrassed for her. So honestly, I don't even know why Angie is even in this segment. I mean, I get it. Both Angie and Rose had the same connections. But to be honest with you, I did not really see how much of a connection Angie and Hussein had. Hussein explained himself like, I left the competition because I didn't feel like choosing Angie was right to her because it would have came off like she was second choice, and I don't want to do that to her. But Angie's talking about, well, I felt like we had a stronger connection. How? Where where was that? Is a strong connection in the room? That's my new thing I love to read and say here and there. Is the baddie in the room right now? Is the accomplishment in the room? That shit is so funny. Whoever created that, I want to give you the trademark today. So good. So I don't know if it's right here at this part. I think it probably is because he gave her a look. Okay. So she's talking about you supposed to give, this was supposed to be our happy ending, yada, yada, yada. And you getting mad about my husband, not my husband, not a Freudian slip. You getting mad at my baby's father being incarcerated, but you was in prison too. You served time in jail too. Everyone's like, what? Oh my God. First of all, not to be stereotypical, but let's keep it a thou wow. Let's keep it a stack. A black man in prison is not something surprising. Are we surprised? Are we surprised? I don't think my dad's ever been in prison though, so that's a little different thing. But the blue point is black Americans, black American men. Come on, that's a rite of passage. That is a rite of passage. No shade, no tea. Anyway, Hussein clears it up. He's like, no, I've never been incarcerated. I've never been booked. There was a moment that took place in college, and he didn't really get into the nitty gritty of it. But he did say how, let's assume that it was like, maybe they were drinking on campus and they weren't supposed to. So they got taken in by the cops, but it ended up getting dismissed before they even got booked, type of thing. Something very light like that. But he said a good point here. Hussein said, this is why men don't open up to women like this. Because I open up to you, I tell you this information, and you weaponize it against me. And I just thought that to be so true. And it's very unfortunate because, dang, you have a man here who felt like he could have been vulnerable with you. And so he shared vulnerable information. Now people may think, okay, what's the big deal? Like, okay, so what? You may have gotten booked or you may have not. Why is this vulnerable? The point is the point. Niggas don't just be saying, yeah, I was in prison, 2 years ago. Like, you don't just willingly share such information that could make you look bad, right? That is optically not pleasing. So for Rose to shove this in his face as a way to deflect and put her away from any sense of accountability, it says a lot about her piss poor character than it does about anybody else. Rose looked like a damn fool. A damn fool. Look at her screaming and crying. I don't know what she said here. Let me look at I don't know what she's talking about. Oh yeah, so this is the part. Okay, so we move on. Yada yada yada. We get to hear he explains to Angie why he felt he needed to leave the competition altogether. And I already broke that down. So we get to True. Y'all remember True? I don't know why this was even a segment. I mean, it was kind of key. So maybe they needed this for a moment of relief. But we get to her. And remember when she was on the show, she was giving everybody a hard time when she was asked how old she is. And I think her first response was, I'm grown. But as she was on her eliminate specifically, Khalil explained her, their reasons to eliminate her because she's filled with mystery. She's not opening up. She can't even share her age. And then she tried to act like, well, you didn't ask me. He's like, I did. So then she finally gave an answer. Who knows if it's even the truth? She's a beautiful woman. I find it to be very interesting whenever Black women in particular choose to be very coy with sharing their age. When it comes to something like this in particular, right? It's one thing to not share your age to a stranger or, kids, right? Like, if you're in the field of education, working in education, sometimes students will definitely want to know your business. How old are you, miss? Okay, do you want to, do all these extra things? And you have to set boundaries. So I get that with students, because at one point I didn't do that. But as I've gotten older, it's like, okay, hold on. You don't need to know my age. You don't need to know my business. I'm here to teach you and clock out. Build some relationships here or there, make you feel like you could trust me, because you can, but you don't need to know my age and what I got going on outside of work. Anyway, True's talking about, oh, I didn't know that we were on a show where knowing my age was a big deal. Or, you're basically um trying to feel me out. She felt interrogated. That's what I was thinking of. She felt interrogated by Khalil in particular, because she was getting the impression that he was trying to see if she was of childbearing age. And that's a sensitive topic. It is a sensitive topic. I could see how that could have been her reasoning, but I feel like she kind of pulled that out her ass in this very last moment, because she did not mention that at all while she was on the show. And I don't think Khalil is in the wrong to inquire such information. I don't. I want us to be realistic here. Yes, at a certain age, according to the way our bodies as women is made up, it is more difficult to bear children after a certain point in your age. So I don't feel like recognizing that makes you look less of a woman, or I don't know. I just feel like it was just so silly. You don't have to be embarrassed about it. It is what it is. And Khalil's in his right to want to know this, because he doesn't want kids right now. He says he wants kids later on, like in a few years. So it is within his right to inquire and choose accordingly. Naeem didn't get much shine here. Okay, before we even get to that, there was a point here where Khalil, he kind of got, I don't want to say aggressive. I don't know. The reason why I'm asking you is because I'm looking for love, right? That's what he says here. But I don't know, the way he turned around and he's doing all these things and all right, I stand in that. Like, Khalil, you're talking to a woman. What are you bring it? Can we bring it down a notch? Can we do this? Can we bring it down? Let's just bring it down. It was a little too much for me. Okay, what else took place? Yeah, he's like, and did. Khalil. I feel like his age was showing. If we want to talk age, his age was showing here. Khalil, I think he's the youngest one on the show. He's 31, and I think he's the youngest out of the men and out of the women. And so when he did all those theatrics, I love a good theatrics, but maybe not too much from men. I like it from my women, right? From women, but maybe not too much from men. Anyway, we get to this whole poly lifestyle accusation towards Fritz. And it's so childish. Like, and if he did, and if he wanted a poly lifestyle and did, if he wanted that, and so, I mean, whatever. I mean, he got eliminated for it, so that was that. But we learned that, well, he said it initially that he took the show as a joke, but we learned on this reunion that he actually found love with Shanice. So that was definitely a bomb dropped. And that's pretty cool. I could see it. So that's his woman. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so now we jump into the last section here. I'm trying to just have it play in the background. But as I hinted, or as I said earlier in this review, Rose fed Angie some information about Cam. And she was told that Cam is talking about how Angie was in her previous relationships, describing her as aggressive. And what did Angie show herself to be when she confronted Cam about it? Aggressive. Angie proved right. She proved correct the allegation. I totally believe that she was aggressive in her previous relationships. Even if Rose didn't say this to Cam or whatever, even if this wasn't said, it was said because Angie told us herself that she busted the windows out the man's car. Who else would have done that if not an aggressive person? So Cam denies talking trash about her. Angie did not necessarily tell him who told her, but it was basically concluded that Rose was the one sharing this information, and Rose again embarrassing herself like the fool that she is. We get to the Sahara and Rose package, and we see that Cam, he says that he still has love for her and he was trying to rekindle post the process. And initially, Sahara was for it, but she ended up blocking him because it felt like he was just keeping it on text. Like it wasn't leading to anything, and she just didn't have time for it. And I think she just made an impulsive choice to block him, but that's what she did. He said, or Tommy said, okay, well, can you unblock him so he could finally reach you? Because Cam is claiming that he has been trying to reach her. And Sahara's like, I haven't gotten anything because you blocked him, sis. Because you blocked him. So we wrap it up from there. We don't know what may happen at this point. And then this episode, this part of the reunion wraps up with Rose accusing Cam of getting another or an ex-lover of his pregnant. She also tells on herself and says as she was helping him move. First of all, why are you helping this man move? What are we talking about? Are y'all together? And after they finish having sex, she noticed, oh no, yeah, basically they've had sex before and they use a particular type of condom, but as she was helping him move or as she was like around his home cleaning up, I think she was like checking things. Like, first of all, why are you just snooping around? But nonetheless, she's looking around and she finds a condom wrapper, and she says it wasn't the condoms that we use, and she's doing this, it wasn't the condoms that we use. Okay, at least she's using a condom. y'all are not together. You're not exclusive. She was expecting exclusivity with him because she claims that he said to her he's only seeing her. But I doubt that he said it. I think he probably just said, I'm here with you, right? Like he just, I don't know, kind of snaked his way around it. Not in a bad way, but I just feel like Rose, she has these expectations that are delusional. And that's simply put. She's delusional. She's delusional. You have all this vitriol for Hussein, and yet you've been sleeping with Cam? Okay. I mean, your body, your choice, child. Let's get into the second part. Okay. Boom, second part. So we get to the second part, which is the final part of this reunion, final part of Philly. Child, this has been a season, but let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we pick up from where we left off. Rose accuses Cam of having a child on the way. He denies it, and then that was it. It was like, no, I'm not. Okay, moving on to Sahara and Cam. Like, okay, what a transition, Tommy. Can we talk about? Let's get into Deanna and her wig. Can we just get into that? Can we just get into that? Because we got some more. Hussein and Rose was the main character throughout the reunion, and it's just enough. Enough, girl. We said what we said. What else is said here? I think, yeah, I don't know what else to say here. Everything is said. Okay, so we get, what is his name? Again, we're calling him Rick Fox. He's liking all these women, like, yeah, I like Angie. I like her. She's so spicy and da 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 da. But Angie wasn't really feeling him initially because she felt like he wanted more of a housewife, and that's not who Angie is. She's the break the windows out your car type of wife. Deanna, this wig, child. Oh Lord, I hate it. I hate it. Deanna should have just kept that short do. That suited her so much better. Anyway, Coley is still in love with Rick Fox, and she says, yeah, when he rejected me, he's in his right to feel that way, but I still love him. I think Coley was a little in the clouds. I think maybe she's on something, or maybe that's just how she is at all times. Who knows? But she said she was not going to try to rekindle or shoot another shot at him. No second chances with her. Like, Coley, he was not looking at you either. Okay. But yeah, I wanted to say Rose accused Rick Fox of having a girlfriend this whole time. He said no, and then we moved on. And then that was it. Like, okay. So we get to Jay and Kiera. They chose each other. And then we learned that they stopped. We learned that they stopped choosing each other. We learned that this relationship ended as soon as it began. We get into the reasons why, right? So throughout the show, we of course see them going out, going to different restaurants, different activities, having fun. But as soon as they wrap up, Jay tells Kiera, look, just give me a week. I need some time to decompress, to just gather myself. It's been taxing to be on a show such as this. He says they were 16-hour days. What? Is that even legal? I don't know if he was exaggerating, but Jay, you might have a suit, right? You might be able to file something because that's ridiculous. But we see now, though, they've been feeding these contestants. So Own could be like, but you've been fed, though. You didn't have to pay for anything, though, right? So maybe he doesn't have a suit. Nonetheless, he says he needed some time to decompress. Kiera said, okay, cool, no problem, I understand. But the week ended up turning into a month. And then Kiera's like, wait, what? What do you mean a month? Like, I want to still go out, hang out, and actively date you, not be this passive dating experience with you. And they just ended up fizzling out. Kiera says, and as she said from the beginning, she's spoiled. She likes to be spoiled, and that's it. And she concluded it to, it's either he doesn't want to spoil me, either he doesn't have time to, or he doesn't have the capacity to, whatever it is. But Jay's a good guy, but he's just not the guy for me. And I feel like Kiera handled herself pretty well here. She explained it very, like, she wasn't bitter, she wasn't breaking down. And partly because, or mostly because she has a new man now. Kiara got a new man and she's moved on. We don't know if Jay has a new girl, but we hear in the background, like on in the backstage video footage, Jay talking about, girl, you think I'm tripping over that? I got mad girls waiting for me. I got girl after girl. And it's like, Jay, and I believe him. I believe him. I don't think Jay is lacking in that. He's a flirt, as we see. Shit, maybe he and Sahara may have, I don't know. I feel like Sahara, she's not quick to open up emotionally, and damn near she's not quick to open up physically. So I don't think she would have given Jay any play like that. But nonetheless, I think flirtatious wise, maybe she gave him a little bit of energy after the show. Who knows? But I feel like when it came to Jay and Kiara ending things, sure. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I think Jay kind of talked a big talk saying, remember when I said earlier in the review, I think it was the last episode, the episode prior, but when Jay met Kiara's family and he said he doesn't believe in 50-50, when he was asked that question, he said, no, he doesn't believe in 50-50. He believes in taking care of his woman and her wanting for nothing. And he talked a big game and he sound convincing. He said that's what he saw from his parents' marriage. That's what he witnesses from, because his parents are still married to this day. And it's a beautiful thing. So he had a great example of what a healthy marriage could look like. And he had a great example of his father showing up as a provider to his mom. So it sounded like, okay, Jake really knows what he's saying. Maybe he really does practice what he preaches and what he's seen and sees. But come to find out, it was a lie. Now, he may have still definitely seen his father show up as this protector and all these things and provider. But Jay, remember, Jay has 2 children. I don't know if he has 2 different baby mothers, but he has 2 children. They're under 18, right? I think they're young kids. You don't have that much money. I forget, is he in construction? Was that what it was? Not to say that they can't make a lot of money. Who knows? But Jay, you're not convincing me that you have a lot to spare to spoil Kiara the way that she wants to be spoiled. And it seems like Kiara, she's not the type to, oh, just come over. We'll cook together at the house. Let's watch some movie. Let's Netflix and chill. No, Kiara wants to go out. Let's try a new restaurant 2-3 times a week. And that's a lot of money. I think Kiara may be a little unreasonable, but I'm sure there's a sucker out here who, and she got a new man, who will accept what she is demanding. She wants to be wine and dine, and there's someone out who she has found, at least for now, who's able to do that. So that is the reason behind their demise. So we get to this whole Deanna segment and her life as a firefighter. Deanna, what fires are you putting out with that wig? I hope you're not getting your hair or that wig caught on fire. Look at her. She looks so amazing right here. Just beautiful. She has the face for this short cut. She could do a short do. And I think she just should remain with such. But whatever. Her body, her choice. Her hair, her choice. Her head, her choice. Tommy's giving Hussein a hard time for expecting her to have better communication skills regardless of her job title and her job position. Tommy, please. If I really believe in, if you wanted to, you would. And I'm not unreasonable when it comes to that, though, right? Like, I feel like you have to be understanding regardless of the job title. If you was a damn office clerk, if you was at a sedentary job, I still don't think it's fair to expect someone to text you every single minute of the day. I used to think like that when I was younger, and it's just such a foolish thing to think or expect of your partner. Give people space. Let people risk you. Let people develop their lives outside of you and maintain that. It doesn't have to take away from the relationship that you have with that person. So I don't think Hussein is talking about, oh, you should be able to pick up my call or respond to my text at any beck and call. No, I think he's simply saying communication should still be a priority, period. You should still be able to shoot a text, check in, and it shouldn't have to be, every 2 business days. Deanna's talking about, I can hit you, I can talk to you on Monday, and then we'll check back in on Thursday. What? Deanna, what is this? And she says that she would expect this and accept this from her man. I think if Deanna really likes somebody, she would be feeling some type of way if that somebody waited 2 business days to speak to her, waited too long of a time to speak to her, to check in with her. She would feel like, oh, he's not that interested. And that's absolutely true. Okay. So, Gianna, please. So we finally get to Cisco, Shawniece, and Tay. We see the footage again of Shawniece and Cisco's sexy paint day date. And we know again that Shawniece and Fritz are together. Shawniece apparently told Fritz about the date that she had with Cisco. So when this was showing, like when this was airing on TV, Fritz was not surprised. But apparently Tay did not know this until this moment. So she was reacting very very authentically. We learned that Tay and Cisco are not together anymore. They are not together anymore. Tay felt like she could not take his brokenness anymore. It was too much. What you mean you still don't have a car, a job, money, clothes, teeth? What? Tay couldn't take it anymore. And look, she's within her right to change her mind. We all could change our minds. That's fine. What I don't appreciate, though, is Tay, you knew this from the beginning. You knew this from the beginning. And that's why I kept saying throughout the reviews, like, okay, if you want to give this situation, this man, a chance, you have to, and you keep inquiring about his lack of stability. I want to see more conversations about his vision. What are his goals? What is the future? What is it looking like? Because we barely saw any footage of that, so I'm wondering if that even happened. And it seemed like Tay was really about wanting to score this man because he's very handsome. And she said that from the beginning. Like, he's very handsome, this fine chocolava type of man. And he certainly is. And he's broke. Like, that is, 2 things are true. 2 things are true. And sometimes you have to grow with the man if you want a 10 type of man, right? If you want a man who is fine as hell, he may be broke as hell at the same time. You're going to have to work with it. We can't have it perfect. We can't. Sometimes he has to be broke and fine at the same time. You make enough money for the both of us, bitch. like come on, girl. And Tay, you are cute, girl. You are, but I don't know. I just feel like Tay, I'm not saying her options are limited. I just feel like the expectation that she has, she wants a fine man and she wants him to be stable, to have maybe the equal amount of income that she has, if not more. I don't know if Tay is a type of aesthetic that can pull that. And I'm saying this respectfully. Okay? The point is, Cisco could have been her best shot. Cisco could have been Tay's best shot, and she blew it. She said, nope, never mind. This nigga's too broke for me. I got the D, and I'm out. And you can see Cisco was it seemed like he was really hurt. It seemed like he was really, I mean, maybe hurt because he lost the bag. Because he said he was offended when she accused him of being a mooch. And she said this because apparently she was in contact with this scene with Deanna was ridiculous. She getting all mad and aggressive to Rick Fox. Like, girl, back up. Go get your hose. Anyway, apparently, I think Tay got into contact with some of Cisco's exes and learned that he may have been a mooch with them. So he was broke for a long time, is what I'm gathering. And I think if that was a big deal, Tay, you should have never explored anything with this man. Okay, he's not broke enough to not fall off of his gym routine. Nigga still has, I think he has more muscles now than he did on the show. Or maybe his suit jacket is just tight. I don't know. Cisco, he's gonna pull another lady just fine and mooch off of her and be faithful to her. But that's pretty much it, y'all. Is there anything else that I'm missing? That's pretty much the main things that took place. Oh yeah, we learned that Khalil, quote unquote, shot his shot and scored with Angie, but that ain't going anywhere. Totally unserious. But Fritz and Shawnee's seems to be serious, and they may actually explore, not even actually, it seems like they're actually moving forward with their relationship, and it's a serious thing. So that's the only relationship that survived out of this season. And there we have it. Season 10. This is the face I have for it too, Angie. I get it. I'd be like, okay. This season could have been better if it happened sequentially. Did I say it right? Sequentially? Yeah. If it happened, every Friday. If there wasn't a 3-month hiatus, if it didn't take a year and a half long to wrap the season up, this season could have been so much better. The cast was entertaining collectively. Sure, there were a few bozos or just nut jobs, but I mean, it made a good cast. It was still entertaining nonetheless. Anyway, we do get a preview of the next season of Ready to Love, season 11. This season is in Detroit. What up, though? And it looks like a good one. It looks like, whoa, no, these people are from Detroit. From what I've heard of Detroit and like the aesthetics and the way that Detroit acts, you are seeing true Detroitians, however they call themselves. And it seems like it's going to air, I think I hear is airing in the winter. So maybe by the end of November, early December, coming soon. And I will be watching that, giving you guys some reviews on that. But that wraps it up, you guys. That wraps it up. Let me know what you think about parts 1 and 2 of Reunion season 10, Ready to Love Philadelphia season. And there we have it. Let's wrap it up here. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.